Hello everybody, and welcome to the GKaiser AGE. My name is Lucian GKaiser, and today we are going to be taking a look at the hardcore mecha Thunderbolt S from the Steam 2D action game Hardcore Mecha. So let's get started. GKaiser AGE review launching. This is the prototype multi-purpose armored gear model MFX02TS Thunderbolt S, and it looks amazing. It is based off of playable main character mecha from the game Hardcore Mecha, a fantastic and action-packed game available on Steam in the US, but sadly only available on PS4 in Japan at the time of this recording. Check it out if you love anime-style 2D action side-scrolling mecha games, and a link will be provided down below in the description area for the game available on Steam. But back to the figure itself, it is a very solid and very awesome design. A good combination of Full Metal Panic's arm slaves and some Gundam elements, while reminding me actually of some of the Super Robot Wars original generation mecha designs. It's made with some heavy-duty plastics with a die-cast inner frame that can be seen in some of the joints and felt with the weight of the actual figure. The construction is very similar to Bandai's Metal Build series, of which I am a big fan of, but this figure is built by Climax Creatures Series Toys, or CCS Toys for short, and I hope that they will be producing more figures of the mecha from the game, because this design and all the other designs in that game are awesome. Now, I did do an unboxing of this figure in a previous video. If you want to check that out, I highly recommend it, because the box art that for the box that this comes in is truly amazing. But for now, let's take a closer look at what makes this a pretty awesome figure to have on your shelf. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this guy. And already I can tell you, for when I first saw this figure coming out, I absolutely love this mold. The head sculpt looks fantastic. It's got this really neat blue visor, but it's also got some blue eyes in there as well behind the visor, and I think that's pretty cool. But the design itself has a lot of very unique and very awesome looking detail to it. Definitely Metal Build level detail on this figure. A lot of printing on it with warning labels and everything. And you've got a lot of nice metallic painting application on it too. Like here in the shoulders and the vent area here. And then on the back with the thruster units, you can see some metallic painting in there. And just a lot of great detail all over the figure. And I absolutely love it, and I appreciate every bit of it. And there's arms and everything. You can see a lot of detail and printing. Little panel lining and stuff in there. But it's just amazing levels of detail. Definitely up there with the Metal Build series. So let's go ahead and take a look at his posability real quick. We'll start with the head. So you can look up as far as it's looking right now. He can look down pretty far. No other bend or anything. Can rotate 360. He's a robot, so he can handle it. The antennas can move, but I don't recommend it because they are very sensitive. And also, speaking of the antennas, another little detail, as you can see there, it's a clear blue plastic inlaid in the antenna, and I think that's really cool. That's it for that. Now with the arms, you do have an extension for the shoulders here, so that way you can get a little bit more forward bend with the arms. So you can pretty much cross arms like that. I appreciate that. Something a lot more Mecha kind of need with special shoulders like that. Let's go ahead and focus on the arm. So of course, standard 360 rotation. The shoulder pads do move out of the way, so you can get them out of the way to get a nice lift on the arm. Just got to move the elbow pad out the way, but you can get a nice lift on the arm up to there. And then of course, if you rotate it like that, you can get the full upward lift like that there. Right down. You got the upper arm rotation. You got, of course, a double bend. Fantastic looking double bend there. You've got the wrist, which has the hand on a ball joint, or is actually a ball jointed wrist. So you get some nice up and down movement there like that. Rotate the arm or hand around like that. So you got that there. Now for the crunch, you can push him up this far. You can move this little panel down some. And then when you go to do the crunch, you can move it up some. But he doesn't really have too deep of a crunch, as you can see. So just very shallow, which is alright. His waist does swivel, but only that far side to side due to the design. So you don't get a full 360 rotation on that. The side things for the legs, unfortunately, do not move very much at all. So it creates kind of an unnatural block that prevents you from being able to really get a good side kick. So you can't really do too much of a spread with the figure, which is kind of a downside. He does not have the metal build's ability to unlock the hip area here and push it down. It's just one solid die-cast piece. I'm kind of disappointed with that just a little bit, but I do appreciate that these front skirts can go up that high, because then at least you can get a nice forward kick with him. So you can get a nice forward kick like that. And then back, watch out for the back thrusters. So decent back kick like that. And then for the legs, you've got double bend for the knee. So very nice double bend. As you can see, the knee cover bends. It's got a nice little bit of detail right in there. I like that detail. Very cool looking. And then for the feet, you've got the usual side to side rotation. You've got a nice pivot. And you've got the usual toe bend. Whoop. And these are, they come actually not assembled, so you have to actually attach them as the shin or the ankle guards. They don't fall off often, only usually when I'm like knock over it. But yep, nice toe bend there. And again, die cast on the base of the feet to help keep those feet nice and heavy. You do have this part right here on the front that lifts up. I'm not sure why, but that is a thing. But all in all, his posability is fantastic. You can get some pretty dynamic poses with him, as you can see here. And everything like that. So with, of course, his support base, you can get some cool looking kick motions. And with the forward range of the arms, you can get a nice dynamic range with the hands. Quite easily. But yeah, I absolutely love his posability. It's pretty darn good. Not exactly metal build quality levels, but definitely very close to it. Aside from the waist swivel and not being able to do too far out to the side with the legs, the rest of the posability is great. So now let's go ahead and take a look at his weapons and accessories that he comes with. Alright, so to start out with on the weapons, we're going to start with the prototype beam rifle. And this is a fantastic looking weapon. As you can see, a lot of great detail on it. And of course he comes with a pair of hands that are basically meant just for gripping this particular weapon. The cool thing is you can use these hands to grip other weapons from the metal build series. It's a pretty tight fit, but they will fit in there, and I think that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at the special feature of this. So you can pull this part out, extend that, and then you can pull this up, extend it, and then you can pull that. You can pull this part out, and it exposes this nice blue lining. Same on the front here, there's some blue lining there. And then there is a very cool looking, if I can get it to show up here, there's like a nice little blue right in here in the lens area. There it is. And that's pretty cool. Alright, but you can attach this, so you just take this hand off. Glad it does come with multiple hands. A lot of these companies that aren't Bandai tend to skimp on making extra hands, but this company seems to have taken the metal build route of hands. He holds the rifle up without any trouble, and it definitely looks good. I love it. It's a fantastic looking beam rifle. There we go. All right, so let's get him another weapon. Aside from the beam rifle, he also has a shield, and this is called the shock shield. Now, I haven't played the game myself. I plan on getting it in the future now that I've got this figure, but it does have these prongs that extend out, as you can see. So they slide out, extend out. And I'm sure there's probably some mechanism where you can impale or hit another mecha with it and it probably shocks them. Now, one of the downsides of this figure is the shield part right here. It's not like a grip for the hand. It actually slides over the forearm right here. And unfortunately, I'm already noticing some paint kind of chipping off my figure because of that. So I'm going to be very careful putting that on. But as you can see, it's a great looking shield. There's some wording and detailing on it. And it actually holds on there pretty well, even though it's just a clip onto the forearm. So there he is with his primary weapons equipped. The beam rifle and the shock shield. Looking very fantastic with those on. Now he has one more set of weapons, and that are these composite material swords. As you can see, the metallic painting on the edge really helps to accentuate it. You've got the panel lining and washing on the hilt and everything, and on the handle. Now these you can attach with this special attachment right here to the hips, but honestly it fits so tight, and you plug it into the hole on the sword here, and the sword is so long that it has problems like hitting the ground and hitting the figure's hips and stuff, or I should say the back thrusters. So I don't recommend really putting them on unless you're going to display it for taking pictures and stuff. Just best to leave them to the side with the hands gripped, because I'm afraid that probably over time this is going to wear, and since it's all white, it's going to, start showing up a lot easier. But still, fantastic looking sword. So let's put some swords on him. You actually get 2 of these guys. So I've got the hands on both swords here. I got a reverse grip, and then I just got the standard one here. All right, so we'll go ahead and throw that on him. Take the gun off. Sword hand on. There we go. That sword hand. And then do the other one. All right, and there we have him armed with the composite blade swords, and it looks pretty sweet. You can do reverse grip with both hands. It's a little tricky to position because of the big forearm extensions, but still very cool looking. He's ready to slice and dice into some action. All right, and we're going to take a look at the last accessory. Then take the swords back off. Take off his shield. Swords off, and we'll go ahead and put the open hands that he comes with on for this next part. So slide those on. Now, one of the other things I want to mention about the figure while I change over into his final weapon configuration is a lot of the pieces and everything fit very tight. So just be very careful. Like with these hands, you can see I'm having to kind of really work it on the actual peg. So just be very careful when you first get the figure. It took me a little while to just, maneuver him around, loosen up some of the parts to make things easier before I did this review. So now the next thing we're going to do, and this is a tough one because again, very tight parts on this figure, is this part right here at the front of the arms. They're very difficult to pull off. It's supposed to pull just straight off, but you got to kind of wiggle it. There we go. So you take that off. Like I said, being very careful because it's a tight fit on all these parts. So just wiggle it. There you go. So just a little bit of wiggling. Be very careful with it. Once you get those off, you're going to grab these awesome looking effect parts for the energy blades. And then you're going to take these pieces that you pulled off to make room for the energy blades, and you're going to slide them back on to show them as deployed. So attach this piece right here, right in front there. Attach that. Energy blades. we go. And energy blades now active. And I love the look of them. It's very, very cool. And with the posability of the arms and everything, you can get some pretty dynamic poses with the energy blades. And I love the reflection on it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a nice rainbow kind of reflection going. But yep, definitely very awesome. So now let's take a look at one of the final pieces here, and that's this awesome display base. There we go. With the name of the unit. Some very cool writing on there. Now this is a gold overlay, so you do want to be careful. You don't want to, you know, have the figure sliding around on it, because I'm pretty sure it will wear it out. But you can prop him up like that, and then you can slide this down if you want to have him just resting his feet without putting a lot of pressure on the base. And there you go. And that's one of his last accessories. Now it does come with alternate stand attachments, which look to be ones for other different types of display bases that you might have for figures this big and heavy. Alright, but that's pretty much all of his accessories and his posability. So the last thing we're going to take a quick look at is a size comparison. So let's get started with that. Alright, so before we get to the size comparison, I almost forgot to mention the alternate hands again. You got the fist style hands, you got the beam rifle gripping hand, you get two of those, and then of course the other ones you've already seen, the sword holding hand and the other one holding the beam rifle. So let's go ahead and do a quick size comparison. So just because I've referenced them so much, here he is standing next to the Gernsback metal build. So as you can see, pretty much almost the exact same size. And then for comparison, for people who might not have a metal build but may have some master grade Gundams laying around, here's a master grade Gundam Dynamis, brand new kit. Plan on doing a review of that guy pretty soon. He was a very fun build, so you can see the nice size comparison. He's pretty much the size of a master grade. But all in all, I absolutely love this kit. So that's it for the CCS Toys Thunderbolt S, and I am very happy to have added this amazing figure to my collection. I got my copy of this figure from Ami Ami. You can see that in the boxing if you haven't checked that video out yet. Ami Ami is a fantastic website for all of your anime merchandise needs, especially when it comes to mecha like this guy, and especially Macross Mecha. So check them out in the links in the description below. Again, I want to thank you all for joining me here in the GKaiser AGE. If you like what you see, please leave a comment and let me know what you think of this figure. Drop a like, favorite, and subscribe if you want to catch more of my content when I upload it, and check out my GKaiser AGE review playlist if you want to see more mecha figure reviews. Again, thank you for joining me here in the GKaiser AGE. I will see you all again in the next hardcore mecha battle.